67.
67, not 76. I'm registering somewhere 67. So we are we are only 24 at this juncture. Are they likely all of them to join us? Or there could be maybe an issue which is making them not join? We can do with what we have around, then next time they can make sure that they are all in. Is that okay? Caesar,
Yes,
I
for
continue.
sure.
We can continue while we introduce ourselves and move around. I'll also be admitting some as they come in. I want first of all to have pray leveling the ground and breaking the ice as we allow the others to join. It's not easy to teach while you're allowing other people to join the system. Caesar, now that this class have got 67, are they two classes or is one class?
It's one class.
Oh, it was a huge one. And the evening classes are regular?
Regular.
They're regular. This is good. Uh, Fine. Do you have a class group email? Because I'm imagining if I'm
No,
sending
it's not
notes,
class email.
I can send to one class email and maybe one or two persons. So if any one of you doesn't get, can go to the other. Do you have a class or group email?
The notes are shared to my email. Then I
But you
share
can
to
create
the
one.
class group, WhatsApp group.
Yeah,
What
Caesar.
WhatsApp group? You
Yeah, but
send the
the best
notes to
thing.
my email.
Yes,
You send the notes to my email.
yes.
Then I share to the WhatsApp group of the class. We have a WhatsApp group.
Oh yeah, I need not to be in the WhatsApp group. But the answer is that and then I need two people. Two emails, your email plus other email. In case you are not available, the other person can be able to either distribute the link or something like that. That's clear.
Yes.
Okay, fine, good. Uh, Now whoever has not joined will join us as we move on. Will help me to see whether the notes are okay to you. Caesar, can you see the notes?
Yes, we can see the notes.
Yes. I want first of all to give to create a commonness. Understand me, know me, my office, why you're studying this entrepreneurship unit, how does it relate to engineering, how would it be useful to you as an individual, and then we close the lesson for today. Then tomorrow or any other day, and also agree, Caesar, we know this class is an ad hoc class. We need also to specifically know which hour we'll be meeting, and you need to have two sessions in a week, 48 hours. That one said, it's very clearly displayed my name there, and my office is at J15. If you come to J15, they'll show you my office. That's where I sit. But I also have another office which is L32. That is a teaching office. But J15 is administrative office. I only go there when I'm doing administration. Very good. Uh, Now that you understand where I sit and how you can access me, and the model of discussion will be most of it online, unless otherwise, when you have a cut, when you have a discussion, or when there is an issue that we probably would want to come together and solve it. Rarely do we have such issues, but in case we need one physical class, I can come there. But we have cuts. That cut will be physical, one of it. And if you have a group discussion or anything, I can come and join you. That's what it is. We go back to our unit. There is a problem always whenever we take engineering class, because the engineering is a unique course. It takes longer than others, 5 years. Others are 4 years. And You can also get some engineering I've noticed who probably go through 4 years. I don't know how it's structured, but all the same, you are our students. We will have to do what's supposed to be done in the light time and ensure that you go home with something reasonable enough, equivalent to your fee. Caesar will be helped by other people and answer questions so that then appear that I'm harassing Caesar all the time. I can see Ego Kids. I don't know whether there's such a human being around. Emmanuel Metekai, Owiti, and others. I want to put it to you that when you are studying entrepreneurship, there are many reasons why you study entrepreneurship. You as engineers, and would want to connect the world, the commercial world, to the commercial world, which is entrepreneurship, to engineering. It's not easy because probably engineers have a way of perceiving the environment, commercial environment, different from other disciplines. We'll try to discuss along the way, see how other disciplines and engineering merge in areas, in matters of commercial activities, and how well they can push towards the same direction. Caesar, with others, I'll ask this question. Did you take any entrepreneurship unit since you entered the technical university the last 4 years? That one can be assisted by any person, not necessarily Caesar. I repeat the question. Did you take any unit of entrepreneurship, either business plan or any related course like economics?
Yes, we've done elements of economics.
This is very good. To make my work easier. Zachary? Zachary?
I've said we've done elements of economics.
Yes, that is very good. It makes my work easier, not any other thing. So if that is what it is, then I can go straight now to the events. This unit of yours, Zachary, you'll mute. This unit will specifically deal with entrepreneurship. But when dealing with entrepreneurship, it is expected that you should be able to navigate the world of commercial activities effectively, like as though you belong there, much as your engineer. What does it mean? We'll do a simple business plan so that if someone wants to fund your business, your project, at least you can be able to combine the two. It will be a unit, it will be a sub unit within this course, which will help you. Thank you, Mutweri. You also did engineering economics. It will help you to be able to seek for funding, capital for development of your projects, and you are able to pitch to a funder, be it development partners, be it government, be it bank, be it a potential customer who would want to join you. So you'll have a business plan which will plan hand in hand with this unit. So we will sit for an examination, end of the semester, end of the term, and this will compose of 2 cards and 1 takeaway. These 2 cards, one will be group, the other one will be sitting, and the other one will be group work. We are trying to encourage you to work in a group and have group cohesiveness. Then when you do that, we also have some marks again for business plan. It will be a simple, simplified business plan that will enable you to understand the concept of the business plan, the principles behind it, and how you can be able to utilize when you go out there and you're learning a big project. And I expect most of you will be learning a very big project after this. So we expect you to be very much aware and be able to appreciate what happens out there on commercial activities. Let me introduce entrepreneurship then. Entrepreneurship. Know that you have studied economics. You are taught by your lecturer under economics. that there are four factors of production. These four factors of production, they work hand in hand to achieve the desired goal of an entrepreneur or an economist. And because you have done these two elements of economics and economics of engineers, I would want to ask one simple question that puts us in the right place. And this one can be answered by anyone, although I'll mention in one of you. Give me four factors of production because you have done it under two levels of economics. Brian Bisonga, tell me the four factors of production. That's where the lesson starts. There are four factors of production. On to here. Brian?
Capital, labor,
Uh-huh.
and entrepreneurship.
Land,
Land,
capital,
uh-huh.
labor,
Labor, and entrepreneurship. You've done it well.
entrepreneurship.
Good. Yes, this is what exactly we'll be doing. So you can mute now. We are saying entrepreneurship is a subset of economics. And economics specifically deals with scarce resources. When you go out there as an engineer and you're employed, remember that the resources you'll be using in terms of either materials, in terms of capital, in terms of even labor, they are limited. They are scarce. To get a good engineer takes 5 years to study in the university, maybe 2 other years in a professional course. It takes like a minimum of 7 years. Plus experience could be 15 years. That person must be very scarce. There are few. So when you get one engineer who is experienced, you must respect them, you must pay them well, and you must motivate them. How do you go about it? It is entrepreneurship that comes into play so that you can be able to bring together those resources, land, capital, labor, and entrepreneurship. And it's entrepreneurship that manages all. The way we have in a civil engineering, a house, if you are constructing Times Tower, it is expected that an architect is the the I remember they are are they the key, or what do we call? I'm not sure about engineering, but how come that anytime we have a project like a construction of Times Tower, the name that appear on the top there as the head of the project is architect? What could be the rationale behind it? Why not civil engineer? Let me hear from you. I want to learn also. Amos Nganga. We need to participate and quickly so that we can be able to help ourselves and the class become lively. Ganga has not answered me question from my
I
side.
think
Why is happening?
because
Eh?
I think because it was the idea,
Oh,
original
because he's
idea.
one who came up with the building.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe it's engineering sense of it. But the point I wanted to say is that for us to be able to carry out a proper project management, then you require an entrepreneur who brings now all the resources, the engineers, the capital, the land, and all others, so that you can be able to produce the services required. Just as like an architect seems to be the head of the project, if it's a civil engineering, a construction of a house, similar, it happened to entrepreneurship. Long years, it was a little bit difficult to define what is entrepreneurship. Classical economists, I'm sure you studied about them in economics, elements of economics. Neoclassical theorists at that time, the many years of 1900, 1800, 1700, the group of Richard Cantillon and others, they were not able to pinpoint what is it that makes to one become an entrepreneur. And all economists believe that you are entrepreneurs. But later on, it was discovered that you can have a sub branch of economics called entrepreneurship and become an entrepreneur. So all economists are entrepreneurs, but all entrepreneurs are not economists. As I take you through this lecture, for many years in technical university, I've been teaching economics. But I veered off to teach entrepreneurship. Now I'm in the Department of Business Administration and Entrepreneurship. But previously I was in the Department of Economics. So when you talk about economics, it flows very well in me. And I try to connect entrepreneurship and economics in the sense that it is a subset of it. Meaning, there is no way we can be able to define entrepreneurship without economics. We cannot also ignore other disciplines like psychology, like sociology, because entrepreneurship combines many factors around it in environment to produce goods and services. And that environment involves psychologists, sociologists, economists, engineers, and others. So these scholars, the classical and neoclassical theorists, they decided that an entrepreneur is that person who buy either a good or service from one area and transport it to another area or environment, sell it there at an indeterminate price to make a margin. That's an entrepreneur. However, Richard Cantillon, a French economist, had a different view away from other neoclassical economists. He said that entrepreneurs are gifted dreamers. These are people who dream. For you to come up with a beautiful masterpiece of a house like KICC, 1970s, you can see how that person, he was very creative, innovative, and those years could come up with such a good masterpiece. He must have been a good dreamer that I'll come up with this structure, I'll look for funders, and he came up with it. During the bomb blast, when so many houses were destroyed in Nairobi, the KICC did not lose any part of the structure, meaning that apart from architecture, the engineers who worked on it, engineers like you, did a superb job. What does that mean? That these entrepreneurs are not, at any one given time, discouraged by either a project they are doing becomes very difficult about it. They believe they are unusual and they do unusual things. If people complain that they are not doing well, they don't care. They hear their own music. They normally trade their own parades. They feel they will make it. They believe themselves. They have that attitude, which we also discover later on as we discuss, go through this unit of yours. The can-do attitude. I must win. That is a good engineer. Because many people, when you come up with a design, they think that this one cannot fly. This can't work. Remember very closely the Wright brothers who came up with an airplane. Many people said it is abnormal behavior, unusual. They'll kill themselves. They also crash other people below them. And even in Kenya, you know how difficult it is to pass through maybe a new invention. And the best thing is to soldier on, whether it's working or it's not working. That's a person called an entrepreneur. Briefly, let us see the importance of entrepreneurship in a university or tertiary institution. This is how now we try to connect engineering versus entrepreneurship. Why have entrepreneurship in a university? You are an engineer. Why study it? How does it help? You can imagine very well that you are an engineer, you'll be given a project like Thika Road, and the government believes that you are the best engineer and you know you are one. But you are given limited resources. You have got few employees. Money is coming in trickle, maybe phase 1, phase 2. Or probably you have to clear maybe 2 kilometers and issue a certificate to the government to give you that money. Then you need to have a certain spirit that says that however hard things are, you must clear and you must gain it. So we help you at the university to inculcate entrepreneurial behavior. And the behavior that will encourage you to develop an eye that can see so many opportunities where other people are not seeing problems. It is from this unit that you'll be able to be self-reliant, that you don't have to be employed. The very many people who are billionaires in the world are not employed. An employer will only give you a salary sufficient enough to motivate you to come tomorrow. But when he's done with you and you are 60 years, he believes that you have nothing else better to offer, and the best place you can go is go back to your home, return to the sender, and when you die, too bad for you. That's an employer. So we help you to be self-reliant. We bring in creativity. There'll be a whole unit on creativity and innovation I'll mention here under the cycle of the project cycle. And it is this place that you'll be able to understand how does the community work, how does it connect with engineering, and how can engineering designs and other factors help people live better life than we are living before. Will at this level also help you to increase or to expand your mindsets in areas of technology transfer, and how to use that technology in existing circumstances. If it is advanced, can you scale it down in a manner that people can understand it? That's what we call appropriate technology. If probably it is too complex, can you come up with the manual and training that it makes easier, we break down to people to understand. So we'll all go through that thing and understand it. And then let's connect also the same unit with the engineering, entrepreneurship, and business. At this juncture, you're probably asking yourself a question. Is there a difference between entrepreneurship or an entrepreneur with a businessman or a woman? There is. So the answer is yes. You can easily distinguish an entrepreneur from an entrepreneur from a business person. And how do you differentiate them? We differentiate them in a simple manner. We'll have a two-column entrepreneurship and the other one businessman, or business, or businessman, or the other entrepreneurship. I want you to understand one fact here. Well, all these other factors I'll talk about them. There's one that is very important. Not the others are least important. We are saying here that in entrepreneurship, the entrepreneurs quickly identify opportunities. They have got a splitting eye of identifying opportunities. And they're able to identify a resource of another engineer elsewhere. And they can tell that other engineer, I'm also a civil engineer, I've studied technical university, and from that I have this knowledge. So I have these experiences. I've also noticed you are good in this. Can you combine these two different experiences and come up with a company or come up with a project we learn together? That is what we call synergy. So entrepreneurs are synergistic. They can easily identify resources around them, including human beings, with capital, with brains, with whatever, bring those people together, and they harness them and they grow. Those are entrepreneurs. Businessmen are exactly opposite. They like operating or independently, and they own businesses independently. And they are operated either by a family member, themselves, or very trusted people. What does that mean? That their scope is limited. But entrepreneurs, their scope is open, no limits, and they can go to any heights. The second thing that I want to make a decision between the two is that entrepreneurs thrive on originality. They come up with something completely new. The other day, I like National Geographic, and I watch a lot engineering programs, like construction of a dam, construction of cities like the Palm in Dubai, construction of the tallest building in the world, bridges, that kind of thing. Maybe manufacturing of an aircraft, a 380. I go through them. I just get interested for many years. But I have noticed that engineers are people who like originality, original thing. And you would probably at one time wonder, how would the expressway how would they get enough space now that you have got enough road, a load that heads to Mombasa Road, another come to Nairobi. How do they combine the two? Engineers came up with ingenious method, and it fitted very well. An engineer is that person who can be able to play with a very small space, get out whatever you want, and not that he's copying from somewhere. That's originality. So a large number of engineers can also be entrepreneurs. But independent, when it comes to businessmen, they mostly operate in retailing, franchising, and operation has always been their conventional method of doing business. They copy one another, and of course, they along the way of the competitive, become too competitive that the margins become too low. An engineer will not bother to compete with you. You come up with something new, original, like the expressway from Westlands to Mororongo. Who knew it was there? Someone who came up with it, came up with the design, and is helping Kenyans, and we are enjoying it. So originality matters most. Speed of wealth creation, when it comes to entrepreneurship, very fast. 2, 3 more people combined together. The other 2, 3, 4 years ago, NCBA was called, it was a combination of 2 banks. It was NIC and CBA. They combined to become NCBA. But these are big families that joined their businesses together. I understand there is a Degwa family and Uhuru Kenyatta's family. They joined. So those are entrepreneurs. They joined hands, became one of the largest asset holder in Kenya in terms of capital ownership. You see, creation of wealth become very easy. If a dollar changes 1 shilling, they get billions. But when they come to businessmen, it takes too long. Remember the kiosk in next to your home. It will be there for the ages. When you're in primary school, it was there. The owner is too old now, but it's still selling there. The same measurement. Entrepreneurs go for crazy ideas. At one time, I asked myself, if these people are constructing this express highway, and what if there is matatu people and the way they fly over things? What if they fly over the barriers and beneath them there is a jam? They'll kill so many people. At one time, they even stopped. I don't know whether they operate there. Do you have matatus operating really in expressway? Do you have matatu operating there? Do we have matatu using the expressway?
No.
No. No. Okay.
Yes.
Kibet. Brian. Hey, this class.
Yes.
We have matatus flying over using the expressway.
Well, sometimes I see some matatu using it.
Would you be comfortable for them to use it?
No.
Why? Kibet, and you are an engineer.
I think because it was that was not the intention of that was not what the SGR was supposed to function.
I agree, because you know their behaviors, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, and if you want accident, you can imagine having an accident in the elevated part of expressway. It can cause a lot
Sometimes
of
there's
damage.
some accidents.
They cause it, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was one which was, is it near Murorongo? One came flying
Yeah,
over those
it was
things.
near Milolongo.
Yes. Can you imagine having 10 matatus competing somewhere on an elevated road, about 15 feet? You can't have it. So what you're saying here is that with such element, entrepreneurs normally know how to mark one another. They come up with great ideas, crazy one, and they carry them out. Those are the differences. What is the role of entrepreneurship in economic development? Before I get there, although I'm sure you've studied economics, you didn't know that economics will come back again. It's very vital for us. You cannot be an engineer without knowing economics, and you're dealing with money, resources, and people. They will kill you. We are saying economic development refers to a policy interventions used by the government. Why do they use those interventions? They want to intervene so that they can have a vibrant economy, robust one, so that it can create employment, support the incomes of the people, livelihoods, and of course the government expand the tax base. Right now you are complaining everybody is being taxed. Other countries also have got very high tax, especially Sweden. They are very, 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 very high tax. And I know because I've stayed there for a while as a student, and they have got around, by that time was 50%. And that was 2007, 27, 26, 27. And it was 50%. Ours is not anywhere near there. But there is no corruption. The service there is 100%. If you fall sick, you will go to an equivalent of Nairobi hospital. Then you pay nothing, you go home. No, you don't pay any fee to your child from nursery to university. If you are a lady and give birth, the government pays for everything, and they pay for you. They pay you for giving birth. I know probably you're saying outside several of them they'll be paid money. No, it must be a Swedish to do that. So the element here is that the reason why economic development is linked to entrepreneurship is that entrepreneurs play a great role in building the economy. When they produce goods and services, either they produce in excess of what is required in the country, we export it. When you export, we get foreign currency. We get foreign currency, it becomes useful for us because our shilling becomes stronger at any time we export. When we import a lot, we lose a lot. And the terms of payment become completely unfavorable. That's why you find a vehicle in Japan could be costing 1 million. But because of taxes and our dollar is, our shilling is weak compared to dollar, then you end up using around 3 other million to buy that vehicle. That's why we think about GDP, the gross domestic product, the next net income, product income, and the purpose here is to ensure that in the economy, entrepreneurs play a role that we are able to export to others instead of importing. So in short form, entrepreneurs play a very great role. But we break down and these facts and say in a broad manner that economic development has focused in only 3 areas. One, policies. The government undertake certain policies, and these policies are particularly aimed at achieving stability of prices, sustained growth, so that you don't have 2.1% growth and the next one 7% growth. There are those countries that have maintained certain growth rates, like US, 6.5 throughout. Asian tigers, 10% throughout. I wonder, I'm sure you're wondering why US has got lower growth, economic growth rate. When you have got a huge economy, the growth rate will not be as it is for a smaller economy. The Asian tigers grew at 10%, most of them. Kenya, we grew during Kibaki time from negative 2.17 to 7.9. It was the highest ever known. And we moved up to 9. Then during the war, it collapsed almost to negative. Kenyans are very good at that. Any generation we fight. Is the president who said very little, but he did a lot. We encourage others to do the same and do better. So we are saying that the government does those policies so that we can have a greater tax base. We can maintain the prices of goods at a lower level, like fuel, so that the fuel does not move from 160 to 360. And there is that madness in Kenya now. Everything is just going up. Fuel, parking fee, I hear Nairobi parking fee would be 300 and something. Is it 300? Did I hear it well? Who had that? There is a proposal that they are going to increase the charges. Is it 300 or 500? What is it? Who had that? Nairobi City Council. Karibu Kenya. Caleb. Caleb is not in my class, eh? I've noted somewhere. Ede Karugu. Karungu. Karungu is not in my class again. Karungu, answer. I'm listening. Karungu.
I think it is 300.
300. Right now is how much is it?
300 because even Took nowadays they are charging 300. It used to be 200.
Took technical university charges.
Yes.
Aye, how?
The new
Never heard of
parking
that.
the new
Eh?
parking ground just behind S block.
Oh, that is not ours.
We were given by president or
Ah, the land is ours,
What
but
is this?
I don't know what is happening if they are charging. But I remember going there, they charged me 200. I had to double park mine in the technical university. I don't know what's happening. But you people, you are not supposed to pay. You are our students, so you can come with your vehicle. But I know it's ever packed. Don't worry. One day you'll buy a helicopter. Good. So that's why we are. We said that for economic development to come up in place, we must have policies. The policies that talk about price stabilization, the growth margins, the tax base expanded so that you don't overtax people who are working and leave those other people who are in business. There's those government programs like construction of infrastructure, like thick highway, the mini highways that you have around, the bypasses. They really save us from unnecessary jam in town. The highways, the parks, affordable housing. We have seen a lot of it coming up, and this is a very good idea. The only thing is that an old man like me paying for that house, and maybe I'll get it after 20 years. Do you think I'll get that house? Who is that in that program? Who is paying for it? Elvis Karumbi. Are you paying for the housing program? The 1.5? Elvis, I know you are trying to talk, but it's not coming up. I don't know what's the problem. Your mic is not working. That's a trick. I know students how they play about with me. But the point I was saying is that the Singapore, 1969, they established the same housing thing. Anyone who's been to, I can see Kirubi, don't worry. Anyone who has been to Singapore would attest very well that it is a highly developed country. When they say they are doing 10%, I wonder. If you get there, Nairobi look like a slum. But what you're saying here is that the government started housing program 1969. It went almost the same way we are doing it here, but there was no corruption. They had a very strict president, Lee Kuan Yew, and that's why now Singapore is the level of America now, very highly developed, and they're only 5 million people. Each one has a house, probably 3 houses. Your grandfather, mother died. They left 2 houses. You renovated them. You grew old. You give to your kids. You get your kids having 10 houses. Singapore is a developed world. Why? The government devoted a lot of energy in coming up in infrastructure that help people, houses, ensuring there's a security so that people can work throughout the night and day. And these things are very useful when it comes to development. All these are issues concerning the government development. Does entrepreneurship contribute to economic development? Yes, it does very well through investment. If we, and of course, the other day, I don't know whether the president is back. The other day, the president was in America, and he, I don't know whether he's quoting one of the former minister the CS in the industry, Mohammed. Mohammed is also a very good person in when it comes to investment. He's been the head of managing director for East and Central Africa for Barclays when Barclays for they call it the emerging markets, and he did very well. He was managing director in Kenya, then he became managing director of East and Central Africa. That's a big post. Then he became a CS. They were with him there in America, trying to woo investors in Kenya. When a lot of investors come in Kenya, trust me, we get good jobs. Engineers like you get beautiful jobs and good allowances. And that one is brought in by an entrepreneur from America who comes in to establish maybe an expressway, rail lines, subways, dams like Kimwarer. Engineers like you, civil engineers will go there and work. Engineers like you are the ones who are coming up with these buildings, the government buildings coming, I mean the housing project. Now, as many investors come in who are entrepreneurs, the more we gain, the more economic development come around. Now you can combine the idea that you're an engineer and you understand the market systems, and you can be able to convert theoretical ideas in a university into commercial. How do you go about it? Go through investment, become an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur come engineer. This one I've talked about it, import and export, promotions, go about it. It contributes to national product. I have mentioned about that one. Creation of employment is very clear. Capital formation, anytime you get a job, like now when you graduate from the technical university, join circle, join join investment firms that help in the capital accumulation, capital formation. You have enough money to manage, accumulate enough money like Japanese, and you'll be able to build your own empire. Japanese are the best savers in the world. I hope you know that. A Japanese will save a salary up to 40%. Probably some of you are saying 40% I save. If you look at whatever you do, probably you save only 10%. The best Kenyans could be 5%. And a large number of them don't have saving habits. And you can see the loans that the government is giving up, is advancing to people. Help people to get loans, not youth fund, hustler fund. This hustler fund, there is a certain percentage, I don't know, 1 shilling or whatever goes to, it is given to, it is held by the government as part of the capital formation, so that you keep, every time you borrow, you have some other money kept aside for you for growth at a future date. This is superb. This is good. This is a good program, but how well it's working, I don't know. But I'm sure some of you must have benefited from it. But if we are all genuine, if, for example, the people who are given loan by the government, like help, like me, I was paid for my first degree, and it was very easy for me. My parents did not pay anything. In any case, we are given boom every beginning of a semester, and we used to enjoy it a lot. If I'm given a chance, I would rather go back to class now and study and be given boom. I enjoy that money again. But if you didn't pay back that money, it means that you're harassing the government and the other young people like you who could be using that money to become engineers, lecturers, and other kind of thing. So we are saying here that we need also to establish that saving culture in Kenya, so that you stop borrowing right, left, center. We're talking about contribution of the entrepreneurship. Yes, it does contribution. It does contribute, and it contributes in a different way, in a manner that when we have a factory establishment in places like Vihiga, or there they are coming up with industrial park. Like Kipia, again, they came up with industrial park in Muruti. I went there to do one or two things as a consultant. And the element here is that those factories and those machineries we put there do employ people. Those people have been living in Nairobi and have zero income because they live from hand to mouth. They will go back to rural areas. Therefore, they will have a movement called rural it will balance that element of rural-urban migration, where so many people move from rural area to town and they have no job, or whatever job they have is disguised. You're a shoe shiner, you get 1,000 in a day and you consume 900. A child falls sick and then you even don't have enough money. You have only 100 shillings to take that child to the hospital. So you live a life of hand to mouth. You dig a hole, feed another hole. Anytime you have a hole somewhere. It is entrepreneurs who bring in innovation. They combine 2, 3 more factors together to bring a new fourth product. This one I will not dwell on it. There's a whole lecture about it. Of course, entrepreneurs produce goods and services. They sell them. The government get VAT. They get all manner of taxes. And the more entrepreneurs we have, the more the government enjoys. That's what it is. I want to summarize 1 or 2 things because I know you are tired, but I ask ourselves a question. Where did the entrepreneurship start from? Where are we? Are we making it well? Is it useful in the near future? It is useful at a future date, and we started the very long medieval years as hunters and gatherers. Men would go and hunt antelope, buffaloes, and bring meat for the family. Women would gather fruits, water, and take care of the kids. And whoever had more fruits than the other, they would exchange with the meat. That element of exchange was called barter trade. It evolved to pastoralism. Why keep on learning for antelopes and the buffaloes? Domesticate them. That domestication, we now have cows, we have goats away from antelopes that they used to hunt. And if you want a cow, probably it's equivalent of 3 goats. We exchange that way. Pastoralism, we moved to agriculture. Agriculture has evolved, especially because of agrarian revolution. That happened a lot more in Germany and US. Mechanization came in. We would use mechanize, produce goods and services, learn how to store them. Cold room came around, machineries, tractors, combine harvesters, and then we move to another level called agribusiness. You are doing agriculture purposely for money, not because your families do agriculture. It's called agribusiness. And we evolved that one we went to handicraft. And this handicraft, now this is a different story altogether. And this handicraft became now a change of event. It is where people thought that they could be able now to carve in maybe designs from there. The handicrafts would come in. You get even some vehicles which are done specifically with with hands, like a Lamborghini. You buy one 30 million, 40 million. Okay, Ferraris. What do you mean by this? Advanced technology. You come up with the photocopiers. It was here. Come up with machines, packing machines. Instead of human beings working all through in the industry, machine packs them. This was part of handicrafts. Then industrial age. This is the most complex one. Why bother must use cement? Maybe there's another component better than better than cement. Must we use poles when you are constructing to hold maybe first floor to the second floor? I don't know what to call those things. And in engineering, someone come up with something else completely new materials created, synthetic. Why should you have cotton? Come up with a synthetic one, probably combination of chemicals. Do we want to depend on cotton so that you have clothes? No, you can have nylon made up of other chemicals around it. You see, industry. Must we have water to cool our radiators? No, there's a coolant which is a chemical. Okay, those are industrial ages. Robots, which are highly sensitive and can do a lot of activities in a factory. This is what revolution is about. We are heading to a very serious age level called information age, whereby when I give an assignment now, you just go to ChatGPT The assignment that normally takes 2 weeks and I give it to you, you just do it in 3 seconds, return it with 10 out of 10. I don't know why the university will be existing. Look now, check what you are doing now. I'm teaching through the net. I tried to force some students to come to class the other day. Say, Mwalimu, we don't want to come. We are certified with the with online. We only come for cut. It now become the normal thing that when you are teaching and most students would want, especially a theoretical subject like this one, they can do very well. We discuss more hours. There's no need of you traveling from wherever you are home to a class. I can do it wherever you are to your comfort. And maybe along the way, you're in the house, you are sipping a cup of tea, or you're doing something else, and you're still listening to what I'm saying. If I'm too boring, you can mute a bit until I'm away. I've given you several notes around here just to ensure that you understand what is entrepreneurship. I do not want to go beyond this level, but I wanted you to understand something called entrepreneurial process. Entrepreneurship is a process. It starts from somewhere, it graduates to a certain stage, and it keeps on moving on. And being a process, you expect it to be dynamic, flexible. It changes with the environment. Well, how you do business in Nairobi is practically different from what we do business in Tanzania. Tanzanians they've got more the human face. Here you can get to a hotel and tell someone, I want tea and this quickly. I'm going somewhere. Tanzanian is completely different. They greet you, they settle you, and then you also request in a manner that it's like you're not paying. Na kuomba uniuzie. In Kenya, they can even do things to you so long as you bring the money. So entrepreneurship is a process. And being a process, would expect it to move from one stage to another. And that stage is logical, is systematic. They are normally planned. Otherwise, if you just do it haphazardly, you'll miss the point and you're likely to make a lot of losses and you'll meet in so many things which are unpredictable because you are disorderly. So we will borrow heavily from a model that was created by someone, a very good professor called Tybons. Tybons came up with a very popular model now that is used to understand the entrepreneurship process. Entrepreneurship starts with an idea. An idea hits your mind and it becomes like a discovery. You discover that around you, there are certain resources that are not well utilized, but you can harness them, probably combine one or two other factors like land or other human beings and come up with a new product or service and sell to people. So long as that idea is viable. So an idea starts like an hypothesis, starts like an hunch. And that hunch, you go on it, develop it. But when you develop it, you would want to see it on a concrete basis. So you come up with a business plan. And I'll help you to understand the business plan before the end of this course, and I'll give you marks for it. So a business plan is a feasible analysis or feasibility analysis of the project you want to take. Is it going to fly? Is it viable? Feasibility means that it's doable, and if I engage resources here, I'm likely to get something. Then does it sit well in the environment I'm putting in? Do I come up with an arbiter in the middle of town? Where will I keep the cows? Then it means that is not feasible. Do I come up with a leather factory next to an estate? They will complain of the smell. I don't know whether it has changed, but many times I would travel along Mombasa Road near the river. It used to smell very badly. Has it changed? There was another turning there, and it would smell very badly. Kimanzi, you come from Kampala. You must be passing around that place. Kimanzi. Excuse. Kimanzi, I'm talking to you. Mercy is not in my class, eh? Okay. So we are saying here that the stages are there, they are clear. You do a business plan, and that business plan now combine the factors around and know whether it is feasible, whether it is viable, and you put inject capital requirements and money. Will it meet your goals? Is your vision towards that direction? That's the business plan. I took you through that in understanding. The second stage, that stage is resourcing. You get people who help you in that project. You get employees who support the program. You get the suppliers who bring the goods and services that you'll be using around there. You get to convince funders this project is viable. This project is varied and the government understand it. Any other person wants it. And please fund us to complete that project. Then the final part is management. A project is as good as manager. A project is good as top management. Remember, the fish starts rotting from the head. If you don't have a good management, top management, you're going nowhere. We lost almost 24 years in Kenya because we believe that one president could be there for very long years. I want to believe that even the Kenyan president, we should reduce it them to 4 years, a maximum of 8 years, reduce from 5. And we make them more competitive. They don't stay in one place for long years. So top management is very important, and that marks the end of the lesson. If you have any question, let me know before I close the chapter. Wanjiku Tatua. Excuse. Zachary Omwenga. Any question? Okay, if there's no question, I've said that there will be 3 assignments. One will be takeaway, the other and individual, the other one will be group.
Sorry, I've clicked left. Sorry for that.
Okay.
Zachary.
Fine. And then
Excuse me,
we'll
is it
discuss.
assignment or cards?
Pardon?
You said 3 assignment or 3 cards?
Yes, no, I'll have one takeaway. And make sure that you don't use ChatGPT. Eh? Then there will be a group one. I may decide to give you business plans form of a group. You discuss it and then come up with one. 5 people. Become easier. Then there will be only one sitting card. That one will see your face. I'll see Kibet here, Victor Kagol, and I'll be able to connect. I also want to see these engineers so that when I go out there and find something, I can call them. They come and join the others in making money. I am through. I know you are tired. You have really tried up to 5. This is very good, exemplary good. I want also to appreciate your class rep Caesar. He's been following me very well, very closely. Continue. And then we proceed on. When you are handicapped, I know some of you go for a project out. You tell me ahead of time so that I reschedule the class for another time. Is that clear? Caesar now send me the group email.
Okay.
Sawa, eh? You people go and relax now. Sawa.
Thank you so much. Bye.
See you.